everybody. Welcome to the morning session. We're going to give just a minute to get everybody in, and then we will get started. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday morning. We will be utilizing the chat function a good bit this morning, so please have it on the ready. If you're joining us on the Zoom call, if you're on YouTube, you can also comment, and Julia will pull those calls over as well. All right, Randolph has got a few announcements for us, so we'll let Randolph have his announcements.
All right, first we want to welcome our speaker today, Kiz Adams. I know we may have a couple other people joining us. We have some people sneaking in because Kiz, so Kiz, you're a superstar. But wanted to say welcome to Kiz. I met Kiz several years ago and we worked together at TND, and she's done some fantastic work-life balance stuff for the university. So welcome, Kiz, and welcome the folks who joined us because of Kiz. Today, auxiliary family, we're really, really excited. We have a bit of a milestone that we want to celebrate together. Today is 1 full month of our Connections programming. So thank you so much for your faithfulness in participating and joining. I see there are more folks still coming in the room. Just wanted to give you a sense of what we've done over the last month connection. So we've had just under 50 Zoom sessions, these classes and these engagements, just under 50 of them over the month. We've had 25 daily videos, and I'll talk about the daily videos in a little bit. We're averaging about 130 participants in our sessions. We've gotten thousands of comments in the chat box. We're going to be using the chat box a lot today, so make sure to use that. We've gotten tons of ideas from you all. So I wanted for all of us to be really proud of what we've celebrated, a month of something different, something we hadn't had an opportunity to do under normal circumstances, but that we're going to be doing moving forward. So thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for the comments and the feedback. We will continue to try to present this. Now, for some of you, you've been accessing our daily videos, and the daily videos were just good mornings from different folks. So we had Darnell Tate and Greg Huston do a lot of those videos. We've had some that were of recipes. We've had some UGA coaches, Kirby Smart and others telling you all thank you for the work that you've done. And those videos at the time were really based on getting us together and getting us connected and getting us over that hump of something different. Given that this is the end of the month, we are transitioning away. So we're sunsetting those videos, but we couldn't sunset without a fun finale to the video. So we had a video of Gary, and if you've been on a fireside chat, you've seen Gary, a video of Gary that will be our final daily video for the auxiliary connection. So Catherine, you want to go ahead and roll the video, and then after the video, Kiz will start her session.
Hello, this is Robert and Gary. Gary's been in many of our videos. Gary, too, is a little bit trapped, living inside all the time and wanted to get out and drive around. We know you're feeling a little trapped at home as well, so we thought we'd share this experience with you. So enjoy the time, look at the video, and experience some of the outdoors that you may have been missing. Hopefully we'll get to see each other soon. Thank you.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
And is that a very large giraffe in Robert's office? That's fantastic. I feel like someone had to ask.
All right, Kiz, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay. That was a great start. Okay. All righty. Catherine, am I good? You see
You are good.
Okay, great. I want y'all to think back, seems like years ago now, but it's really just been weeks when we used to drive into work. And have you ever had that experience where you got to work and you didn't even remember driving in to work? What route you took, you absolutely got there. It was like, gosh, I don't even remember driving. Well, as it turns out, that's a fairly common occurrence. And some recent research done by Harvard University found that for nearly half of our day, our minds are not where our bodies are, which is really kind of incredible if you think about it. And at first I kind of pushed back at that and said, no. I'm a really mindful person. I move throughout my day mindfully. My mind is where my body is. But if you really start thinking about it, that research really probably is very true. For instance, right now, right this very minute, how many of you are thinking about something that happened this morning? Maybe something at home or with the children, or you've already checked your email and you're thinking about that email and what it said, or thinking about something in the future like, I'm going to have to respond to that and I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. So how many of you are not here? Your mind is not where your body is. So what I want to ask you to do with me is just to become present in this space. It's like I always say with the workshops that I do, you've already made the time to be here anyway. You're here anyway. You're not going to respond to the email. You're not going to handle that problem. You're not going to, discuss something with your kids or with your partner or someone else. You're here anyway. So we might as well be here. So if you don't mind, I just wanted to take a couple of seconds here for us all to get present and try to bring our mind and our body into the same space. So if you could just take 3 breaths with me and set your intention that you're going to be here for the next 35, 40 minutes. All right. So let's inhale and exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And one more. Just inhale. Exhale. Great. Thank you so much. My goal here really is, I just have 2 goals for this time that we spend together. Number 1, that you actually leave here feeling less stressed, more focused, just better than when you came in. And second, that I will pique your interest and your curiosity, and that one of the techniques that we try this morning, that you will try it again tomorrow. Now, mindfulness has become quite the buzzword lately, and one of the reasons why it has is because we now know there are many benefits to practicing mindfulness. Let's see if I can get There's now some really hard science behind this practice. The area of neuroscience has kind of exploded in the last 10 years or so, especially that now we can do functional MRIs where we can actually see what's going on in our brain in real time. And what they found is that a lot's going on in the brain with mindfulness. And these are some of the science-based benefits of mindfulness training. And I wanted on the left side of this page, those 4 or 5 are really key for work. So performance, productivity, focus, memory, relationships. In fact, some of the research has found that people that practice mindfulness training are 25% more productive at work than those that do not. And then for the personal benefits, I guess personal physical benefits of mindfulness training, cardiovascular health, mindfulness training does actually lower blood pressure. People that practice mindfulness are 83% more likely to have better cardiovascular health than people who don't. The other thing that's really, especially now, that really jumps out at me is that mindfulness has found to boost our immune system. So just in thinking about the coronavirus and how it seems to be worse in people whose immune system are depressed, or how critical it is to have a healthy immune system in order to not get the coronavirus. Some of this research has come out of Emory University, and what they found was that people that practice mindfulness, when they're given the flu shot, they produce more antibodies to that vaccine than people that don't practice mindfulness. And in fact, they are 50% less likely to get the cold and flu if they practice mindfulness. And there's also been some very recent research that mindfulness actually slows down the aging process. So what I can tell you is that after the 35 or 40 minutes that you spend with me, hopefully your blood pressure will be lower and we'll walk out of here and we'll look 10 years younger than when we came in. On the other side, the things that mindfulness reduces, stress, anxiety, blood pressure again is there, insomnia. So if there are folks out there who've had trouble sleeping. Hey, I know I have had some trouble sleeping. Mindfulness training helps with sleeping. So there's a lot of benefits out there to mindfulness training. That's why it's become such a buzzword and why so many people are interested in it. But I want to ask you, what do you think mindfulness is? Okay, so we know everybody's talking about it. There's a lot of benefits to it, but what exactly is it that we're talking about? So I just want you to take a minute right there in the chat feature. What do you think mindfulness is? Somebody came up to you and you said, I took this mindfulness training class. They said, well, what is mindfulness? What would you tell them? Consciousness. Good. Being purposeful in your action, present in the moment, focusing on the present, connecting the mind and the body in the present moment. Good. I'm just reading some of the chats. Being right here, right now, in the moment. Nice. Quieting the mind. Being aware of something, training yourself to focus better. Be focused on the current state. Aware of something. Good. Yeah, y'all are all along the right track. So I'm going to give you the textbook definition of mindfulness. And I'm quoting here Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's sort of known as the father of modern Western mindfulness. This practice has been around for a couple of thousand years. It was mostly seen sort of in Eastern cultures, but Jon Kabat-Zinn is a research scientist, and he has a mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic at the University of Massachusetts Hospital. And in that clinic, he works with people who have chronic diseases and chronic pain. And he's done some really fascinating things with that, helping people manage chronic disease and chronic pain through mindfulness. But this is his definition of it. Yes, it's this present moment awareness. It's paying attention. It is engaging, becoming engaged in our lives. But his definition is paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. Okay, so what do those three things mean? On purpose, that means it's intentional. You can't be accidentally mindful. Okay? It is something that's done intentionally. And because it is done intentionally, it is a skill. And that's very good news for us, because if it's a skill, it can be learned and it can be improved upon. In the present moment, and a lot of y'all were hitting on this in your definitions of mindfulness, and that means you're paying attention to what is happening in the moment. So not what you want to happen or what you think should happen, but what is happening in the present moment. And non-judgmentally simply means you're paying attention to what is happening in the moment, and you're open to it, you're curious about it, you're accepting of it. So if in the present moment you feel frustration or anger, it's not like you're trying to push that away. You simply become aware of it, and you're not judging it as bad, or good, either one. It's just an awareness of what is. Okay. So I want to ask you another question. So that's what mindfulness is, okay? Paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. Now, the name of the workshop was Mindfulness and Meditation. So what do you think? Is mindfulness and meditation the same thing? And if they're not, then what's the difference between the two things? So just take a minute and write in the chat and tell me what you think. Mindfulness is a psychological process of purposely bringing one's attention to experiences through the practice of meditation and through other training. Someone says, yes, they are the same. Meditation is the path to mindfulness. Meditation is an exercise that helps with mindfulness. They're different things. There are many forms of meditation. I've got some experienced mindfulness people here. I'm so glad that mindfulness is an element of all those different techniques. Yes, they are different. Okay. Well, yes, you are correct. Mindfulness and meditation is not the same thing. Okay. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment, but meditation is the exercise that you do to become mindful. So meditation is simply bringing our awareness back over and over and over again to the present moment. And the more you do that, the more you get better at being mindful. Okay? So again, it's like the exercise that you're doing to strengthen your ability to be mindful. But here's what meditation is not. Okay? It's not a religion. It's not about eliminating all sources of sadness or distress in your life. It is not a self-absorption with your sort of navel gazing, if you will. It's simply the exercise that strengthens your mindfulness muscle. I like to put out the analogy of this is like if you want to strengthen your bicep, you're going to do a bunch of bicep curls. Okay. So meditation is like the bicep curl that's strengthening your mindfulness muscle. Now, what do you think is your mindfulness muscle? Just somebody put in the chat box there. What is the mindfulness muscle? Anybody know? Thank you, Scott. Yes, your brain. Okay, that's exactly right. Your mindfulness muscle is your brain. Okay, so to understand sort of how mindfulness works on the brain, we're going to have a very short course in the brain. Okay, and especially these 4 areas of the brain. And why I feel like this is important, because this is my advertisement. This is my motivation for you to practice some of these techniques. Now, this is going to be like an 8th grade science class on the brain, because I am not a neuroscience. I know probably just enough to get me in trouble, but I know these 4 areas and sort of how they play into mindfulness. Okay, so the first area here, the prefrontal cortex, and this literally sits right behind your forehead. And this is the part of the brain that's involved in problem solving, rational thought, regulating our behavior, focusing our thoughts, and look at that last one, paying attention. Okay. Well, 2 things that can cause this area to shrink. And I do literally mean to get smaller. And again, this is what we know now from the area of neuroscience. Number 1 is age. Okay. And there's really nothing we can do about that, because the alternative doesn't look that good to not aging. And you probably kind of already intuitively feel that. You know, you have a harder time remembering things. You have a harder time learning new things. You know, as you feel these things, and that's literally your prefrontal cortex shrinking. The second thing that causes this to shrink is chronic stress. And I would really say that right now, in the time that we're in, we're pretty much under chronic stress. Okay. And there's almost, if somebody says, no, I'm not stressed about this, I would really question whether or not they're being truthful, or, you know, are they living in the same world that all the rest of us are living in? Okay. The second 2 areas of the brain that are kind of key to mindfulness is the hypothalamus and the amygdala. And these are 2 areas of brain that are involved in the stress response. And they're quite close together, and they're deep in the brain along right near the brain stem. The hypothalamus is sort of in control of your physical response to stress. The amygdala is sort of in control of the emotional response to stress. So what happens in your body when your prefrontal cortex recognizes something is stressful? It tells the hypothalamus, alert, alert, stressful situation here. And the hypothalamus mixes up this cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol and dumps it into your body. And you immediately get this stress response. This is the fight, flight, or freeze response. Okay. And probably everybody's kind of familiar with this. It's your heart starts beating, maybe start racing, your blood pressure goes up, your digestion stops. So chronic stress, a lot of us feel it in our gut. Your immune system goes down. And you got to think about this, when we were hunter-gatherers and we had to either chase down our meal or run from being somebody else's meal, this was very useful to us. I mean, our heart got pumping, the adrenaline was going, the cortisol, you dump a bunch of blood sugar into your system to give you that extra energy. Your digestion stops. Your body's not worried about digesting anything. It's about running from the lion. Okay, the problem is we're not running from lions anymore. Instead, we're trying to work from home. We've got our kids or our extended family all around us. We're unsure about the future. When are we going to go back to work? Is my job going to be safe? I mean, we have all of that, and our body is reacting to that, but there's no way for us to get rid of it at all. So it just sort of stays there. So that's that. And that's part of and here's another part, 8th grade science lesson. As part of your sympathetic nervous system. That means once your prefrontal cortex recognizes something as stress, it tells the hypothalamus, boom, that starts the cascade. Okay, and you don't really have any control over that. Now the amygdala, once that gets going in the body, the amygdala picks up on this, and this is when you have all the emotional response to it. Fear, anger, anxiety, chronic anxiety, which, by the way, is the #1 mental health problem in the United States today, and depression. And again, chronic stress makes the hypothalamus and the amygdala super sensitive. And in fact, chronic stress makes the amygdala get bigger. And I do literally mean get bigger. So here's what you got going on. You got the prefrontal cortex getting smaller. So your rational thought, your ability to regulate your emotions, that's all getting smaller, and your amygdala is getting bigger. So little things set this off. So something that your children do that normally it just roll right off your back, and all of a sudden you're just livid and you're yelling at them. This is what's happening here. Your prefrontal cortex is getting smaller, your amygdala is getting bigger. So our emotions are getting heightened, and our ability to regulate those emotions is getting smaller. Okay, it's like the terrible perfect storm. And the 4th area of the brain that's kind of involved in mindfulness, it's not really an area of the brain, it's your gray matter. And actually you have gray matter that covers all the area of your brain. And this is like the brain's superhighway. This is how the brain talks to other parts of the brain. This is how you make new connections. This is how you learn new things. You lay down more highway on this gray matter. Well, the problem comes again. Gray matter shrinks. You have less of it as you age, and chronic stress makes gray matter shrink. And again, you can probably intuitively feel this, especially as you age, like it's harder to learn things. Oh my goodness, trying to learn Zoom and how to do online classes and all that kind of stuff has been extremely difficult for me. Probably because my gray matter has shrunk. You just don't learn new things as easily as you did as when you were younger. But here's the thing, and again, here's my motivational speech. I'm trying to get you to buy in to this. If you're at all skeptical about mindfulness or using meditation to develop mindfulness, here are the positive effects of meditation on the brain. There's greater volume in your prefrontal cortex, and I do literally mean it grows bigger. Okay, and this is all backed up by research and by science. Okay, it decreases the volume of your amygdala. Okay, that's where all those raw, overwhelming emotions come from? And what MRIs have shown is that, yes, these two areas, literally, one gets bigger and one gets smaller. You have more gray matter. So there's a neuroscience at Harvard, Sarah Lazar is her name, Lazar. She did some research, and listen to this. A 50-year-old meditator has the same amount of gray matter in their prefrontal cortex. Remember, that's where all your high executive functioning is, has the same amount of gray matter as a 25-year-old. Okay? So it actually increases that. And that's why mindfulness can lead to better creativity, greater decision-making, greater regulation of your emotions, and then greater neuroplasticity. That simply means the greater ability to change the way that we think, to change our brain, if you will. So it's almost like a good, perfect storm that happens. So, do I have you convinced now? Are you ready maybe to practice some of these skills? Okay, because we're actually going to practice some of those. Okay, the first two I wanted to show you is all about playing with your breathing. Okay, so, and if you don't take anything away from this workshop, please take away this one thing. You know, remember what I told you about, you know, if the hypothalamus gets triggered and it starts this stress response in your body, it is like a train that has left the station and you cannot get that train back. However, and that's your sympathetic nervous system, you know, which, like your heart is a part of your sympathetic nervous system. You can't stop your own heart. You can't make it go faster, whatever. You don't have any control over that. Okay. You don't have any control over that stress response. However, you can slow it down by your parasympathetic nervous system. And you know what's in your parasympathetic nervous system? It's your breath. And if you think about this, you know, breathing's a funny thing. You don't really have to think about it, right? I mean, we don't have to tell ourselves all day long, okay, inhale, now exhale, now inhale, now exhale. I mean, you're just going to do it, right? However, if you want to think about it, you can, and you can control it by thinking about it, okay? This is the one thing that you've got in your back pocket, that if you feel that stress response, that train has left the station, this is one thing that you can do to slow it down. And that's belly breathing. Okay. So we're going to practice that. So what I want you to do is you take one hand and put it on your chest. I'll try to back up here. Take one hand and put it on your chest and the other hand put it on your belly. And now all I want you to do is just breathe normally. Okay, so inhale and exhale. All right, now let me ask you, did you feel the hand on your chest move more or the hand on your belly move more? Okay, if you felt the hand on your chest move more, you might just be a natural chest breather. I'm a natural chest breather, okay? What you want to do is try to breathe from your belly. So if you think about this, here's another part of your 8th grade science lesson. You know, you got your diaphragms in your belly, and when you inhale, it's like a balloon. And it fills up with air and it pushes your stomach out. And then when you exhale, the balloon deflates. Okay? So you want to put both hands on your belly here, on your stomach. And now inhale, and I want you to imagine that balloon blowing up and push your hands out. With your stomach, exhale, it deflates. Try that again. Inhale, push the hands out. Exhale. Try it a couple more times. Now, if you have a hard time doing that, that's all right. That's an extremely hard thing for me still to do. And I've been practicing mindfulness for, almost 10 years now. Sometimes if you're lying down flat, it's a little bit easier to tap into that. But here's the thing. It's the belly breathing that slows that stress response down. They found there's something that in your gut called the vagus nerve. And what science has shown is that this vagus nerve is very good at controlling stress. And this vagus nerve goes over the top of your diaphragm like this. And when you inhale really big from your belly, that diaphragm hits that vagus nerve and stimulates it. And that's what slows the stress response down. So if you feel it, if you'll just stop, do 4 or 5 deep belly breaths, you can calm that stress response down. Your prefrontal cortex gets kicked in, so then you can think clearly about what to do. Okay. Now, the other one I wanted to show you is called dynamic breathing. And this is going to look really crazy. Okay, so what this is good for, if you are feeling super anxious and you can't, maybe overwhelmed or anxious, and you can't seem to calm yourself down, you can't seem to do belly breathing, this helps with that. Or if you feel like you can't focus, like you've been rereading the same email like 4 or 5 times and you just can't focus on how you're going to respond to it or what to say, and this also kind of helps hone in your focus. And the third time when this is very helpful is if you're tired, but you don't want to go reach for another cup of coffee or another Coke. All that caffeine's just going to get you hyped up. It's just going to make the stress response worse. This really helps energize you. Okay. So if you want to stop the overwhelm, become more focused, and be energized, dynamic breathing is a skill that you can use. And all you're doing here is flooding your body with oxygen in this. And imagine if you got a bunch of oxygen to your brain, how that's going to help with your concentration and focus and energy. But I'm going to teach this to you. It's in 3 steps. Okay. So the first step, you're going to be breathing really hard and really fast through your nose. But the key is you want to keep your mouth shut. Because if you do this exercise with your mouth open, you're going to hyperventilate and you're going to be on the floor. Okay. So you want to keep your mouth shut. Let me show you, and then I'll have you practice. And it looks like this. Okay. It is also quite a sinus cleaner outer. So you might want to get a tissue and have it handy. Okay. So let's try that together. Mouth is closed. You're breathing really hard and fast through your nose. All right. You got that? This is based on, this whole breathing, this dynamic breathing is based on a yoga breathing practice called Breath of Fire. All right. The second part of this, we're going to get our arms into this, and I'm going to back up again. So you're going to make sort of fist here with your thumbs up, and you're going to put your thumb sort of right there in front of your armpits. Your fists are right here, and you're going to bring your arms up and down very strong and very fast like this. So this is also sometimes called bellows breathing, because that's what you're doing. It's like bellows here. And this is going to go with your breath on the inhale, down on the exhale. All right. So let's practice all that together. Okay. Let's do it. All right. You got that? Is everybody in your household looking at you going, what in the world are they doing here? You should bring them in. Okay. And you can all do it together. All right. The third part of this is your legs are going to get into it. So you're going to be bending your knees as you're doing your arms and as you're breathing. So your knees will be straight on the inhale, and the exhale, Are we ready to put it all together? Here, now remember, the key here is you want to have your mouth shut. You're only going to do this about, 60 seconds maybe. You'll flood your body with oxygen, right? And then if you've got the overwhelm, if you need to focus, if you need more energy, you're going to have it at the end. All right. So I'm going to put on a little music here, just sort of a fast-paced music to kind of keep us going. And we're all going to practice this together.
Kiz,
yes?
Kiz, I hate to interrupt. They're saying they can't see you in the chat. So maybe if you stop the screen share while you're doing this part.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Everybody got it now? All right. We're going to go. Remember, it's 3 parts. Got to remember to keep your mouth closed. Breathing in and out through your nose really fast. Flapping the arms up. And then bending and straighten your knees. Please don't make me do this by myself. Okay, I don't need to be the only one that's looking ridiculous here. But you're going to see after we do this, we're just going to do this a few seconds. You're going to see how you feel afterwards. So I just encourage you keep an open mind about all of this. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to get some music going here just to kind of help us. Ready? Mouth closed. Let's go. If you can go a little bit faster, you want to keep your mouth closed. Keep going, mouth closed. If you get off rhythm, just slow it down. And try pick it up again, mouth closed, go. Now let's slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. All right. Just stop where you are. All right. What do you think? How do you feel? The lions are surrounding me and laughing. You're sweating. Good. Okay, and that was about, I don't know, maybe 30, 35 seconds of that. Great, I feel rejuvenated. Yeah, well, that's exactly because what we're doing is we're just flooding our body with oxygen. We're using our breathing, our parasympathetic nervous system, to sort of manage this stress response and the sympathetic nervous system. So if you're, again, if you feel those, I'm trying to share my screen again. Okay. So use this again. No, from here. Use this again. And I think it's really helpful in 3 situations: when you're feeling overwhelmed, okay, when you seem like, when you just can't focus, okay, you're just losing your concentration, or if you're just really tired. And that may be why, you can't focus, is simply because you're tired. Okay. All right, what we're going to do here, let me see what my next slide is. Oh, all right, well, let me just throw this out here. Okay, what do you think? That, not everyone can meditate. Is this true or false, do you think? Not everyone can meditate. There's just certain people who are just not the type that can meditate. What do you think? They're just a certain type of person that can meditate? Yeah, false. There's some false, one true. Okay, that is false. If you can breathe, you can meditate. All right. because one of the easiest types of meditation practice is something called breath awareness, where the object of you're focusing on something in the present moment. You're picking an object to bring your mind back to over and over again. And this object needs to be in the present moment. And what you've always got in the present moment is your breath. And I really like breath awareness because it's with you wherever you go, meaning you can tap into this and you can strengthen your mindfulness muscle through meditation wherever you are. It doesn't have to be some quiet place. You don't have to be sitting on a pillow. I mean, you could do it in the grocery line, okay? You don't have to have your eyes closed. It is simply bringing your awareness back to your breath over and over again, okay? And it's a simple idea, but it is not easy to do, okay? Because our minds are super busy and we're thinking all the time. But we're just going to practice this breath awareness, okay, meditation. So what I want you to do, then the key here, you need to be in a comfortable position with your spine straight. So you can be standing, you could be seated, you can lie down on the floor if you want to, but just get in a comfortable position for you with your spine straight, right? And now you can have your eyes open or closed. It's really up to you. But if you have them open, you just want to have some sort, pick some place to be looking at and just have a soft, unfocused gaze. Right? So let's begin. And I want you to inhale and exhale. Now, to bring you into this present moment, I want you just to become aware of where your body is in space. All right, so where are your feet now? So just notice that. Are you seated? Are they on the floor? Do you have on shoes or are you barefoot? Can you feel the hard floor underneath your feet? If you're lying down, are your feet just flopped out to the side? Do you have on socks? Are you barefoot? Do you feel cool air around your feet? Just become aware. Where are your feet? And now your hands. Where are your hands? Are they resting on your thighs? Are your palms up? Your palms down? Are you holding your hands so you feel skin on skin? Just become aware of where your hands are. Now I want you to inhale again. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now, where in your body do you most clearly feel that sensation of the air coming in on the inhale and the air going out on the exhale? Is it in your chest or your stomach? Maybe it's in your nose. Cool air coming in, warm air going out. Just want you to settle your attention where you most feel the breath coming in and going out. Now, if your mind has already wandered off from this present moment, that's fine. You know, that's what our minds are going to do. That's their job, to think. We're not trying to stop our thinking. We can't do that. You simply want to write that thought, just become aware that you're no longer focused on your breath. You're focused on this thought that has happened in the past or going to happen in the future. Write it on a ribbon or a cloud. Just let it float right out of your head and tell yourself, just going to focus on this next inhale and exhale. If you can only get in one breath and then your mind is running off again, that's fine. If you have to bring it back 100 times, you bring it back 100 times. That's the exercise. Bringing it back, telling yourself, just become aware. Where in my body I feel this next inhale and exhale. All right, I want you to open your eyes. Come back to the room. All right. So what my goals were for today is, number one, I hope you feel better. I hope just taking, I think that was maybe 4 minutes or so of that breath awareness. I hope that and doing the dynamic breathing, that you feel better. You know, practicing mindfulness or meditating, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You know, we do not have to, go to Tibet and live with monks for 6 months in order to do this. What the research has shown is that in as little as 5 minutes a day, you can reap all of those benefits that I laid out at the beginning. The physical benefits, the benefits to your brain, and the benefits to your work and your relationships. It's the consistency of it. It's not the length of how long you practice this present moment awareness. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, be 20 minutes or 30 minutes. That's not the key. It's the consistency of it. It's the daily habit of it. And I encourage you, I can send this to you. Well, I think I've already sent it to you, Randolph, the link to my mindfulness moment. Every morning at 9 a.m., I lead sort of a less than 10-minute mindfulness practice. Okay, that could get you started right there. It's at a set time. But if you have to set your phone, to remind you, or if you say, okay, before my feet hit the floor in the morning, getting out of bed, I'm going to do this for 4 or 5 minutes. It's the consistency of it. So that there's going to be one of these techniques that kind of landed with you, either belly breathing, dynamic breathing, or breath awareness, that you feel like you could do, that's doable, that now you're motivated because I've convinced you that there's really hard science to back this up, that this is helpful to us, and that you feel better. And Catherine, I guess now I'll open it up to questions, or if there was questions in the chat for me.
Okay, there was not questions really. Everybody was enjoying so much, and we're so appreciative of what you brought to us today. We will be sure and put your mindfulness, the link to your mindfulness session on the resources page for
Great.
connections. And so that that can be available to everybody.
Okay, great.
It was wonderful. We really do appreciate it. If you have any question, last minute, some that are saying come back tomorrow. We need a part 2, 3.
I actually, Catherine Randolph, I actually could, because actually the time went much quicker. There were 2 other techniques that I wanted to share with them, but we just ran out of time. That I thought might, some people might connect to. So I would be most happy. Yeah, I would be most happy to come back another time and present those other 2 techniques.
We definitely will back in touch with you and put a time on the schedule for part 2. Catherine, could you read some of the comments? We have a few minutes, just so that folks who aren't on a computer can hear those comments.
Yeah, it was enjoyable and educational. Thank you so much. Feel like today will be a great day now. So relaxed. Hope everyone found a peace of mind from this. One that said come back tomorrow, and that we have some that will be looking for that link so they can join in. Thank you for the tips. It was very helpful. This was a great morning session. I personally, I'll just tell you that I sent Randolph a message, one that said, if I ever started doing the belly breathing during a meeting, not for him not to say.
Somebody asked about meditation resources. And I have a Wellbeing resources page out there. Randolph, I can send you the link to that. It's on one of the HR pages. But I have a list there of meditation resources. There's a lot of free apps out there, like guided meditations, if you feel like that would be helpful to you. And sometimes it is when you're starting it. Somebody like what I was doing, kind of talking you through it. There's a lot of those out there that you can, free programs you can download to your phone, but I can send you that link also to those.
Yeah, and we'll put it on our resource page, the resource section of the auxiliary connection site for folks to access. So as soon as we get those, we'll put those up.
Yeah, the Calm app. Somebody put that in at Calm, C-A-L-M, Calm app. Yes, that is one of the ones that I have listed. They do have a free version of it. Of course, you can upgrade if you want to, but the free version is pretty good.
Okay. There's much love and appreciation in the chat for you today. So we really do appreciate you taking time out this morning to spend your morning with us. And
absolutely,
very much appreciate.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
Randolph, anything you wanted to add before we go? You're muted.
Muted, sorry. I was thanking Kiz again for a wonderful session. And actually, we're going to continue down this stress relief, mindfulness, and meditation track this afternoon for our 2:00 session. It will be crocheting for stress release. So grab your pens at 2 and join us if you can. Okay. And then tomorrow we will have a session on diversity and inclusive excellence with Dr. Michelle Cook. So thank you all for coming. It's been a wonderful time, auxiliary family, and now our new fun friends. And see you all either at 2:00 this afternoon, or tomorrow at 10.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank y'all.